Yo, what's good, my wolf pack? Alpha of the pack right here. And today in this video, man, I'm gonna be doing a review of Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest, Chapter 69, Hand. Now, yo, jumping straight into it. From what we've seen, the overall structure of Ellen's I really like. It's a really unusual world, which I kind of had that same feeling like when we saw Edalus for the first time. It was real crazy and unique. Elentier's like the same way, but like times two. Dog, like the crew, like Wendy, Urza, Lucy, Wendy, Gray, Not Soon Happy, and Carla, they were all floating on top of a cloud as soon as they got there. And apparently, according to Toka, those clouds are like islands of some sorts, right? So I'm excited to see like the rest of Ellen's see what their overall world look like. You know what I'm saying? And so, um, first things first, Wendy was still healing Ferris. You know, after she got death beamed through the stomach by Selene, and she healed relatively quickly. Wendy said she shouldn't have healed as fast as she did, but it was due to the fact that Elentier, is overflowing with magic, right? And there was a moment that we saw that Irene, her thought projection rather, came from out of Wendy, right? And it gave Wendy a little bit of a scare because she wasn't expecting it, because she wasn't expecting it, and there was a moment where Lucy, when Ferris recovered, Lucy directed her attention towards Ferris, and she said that we need to find Selene, and this of course shocked Ferris because they were enemies not too long ago. So Ferris was all like, "Hey, are you guys are actually going to fight Selene?" And that's when Urza stepped up and said, "We're not doing this for you. Personal feelings aside, we have a job to do, and we're gonna defeat Selene. But you aren't forgiven for what you did. You have caused great harm to our guild." And Ferris looked a little bit sad about that, but it's kind of understandable. Ferris, even though she had a good reason for doing what she did, she was trying to save her worlds, trying to save her people. She still caused a lot of pain. If she really wanted to, she came real close to getting a lot of people seriously injured. She even came close to getting a lot of people killed. You know what I'm saying? Even the people, even on top of Aldron, even though they were really nutrients in the end, even the people on top of Aldron, technically they all died because of her. Because she went to try to wake up Aldron and destroyed all of his orbs. Technically, they died a lot quicker than what they would have because of her. You know what I'm saying? So Ferris, she did a lot of harm, you know what I'm saying? So I can't exactly blame Urza for being hesitant, but at the same time, I'm like, you can't really hate Ferris for what she did, you know what I'm saying? But either way, she was a threat at the end of the day. So Urza was all like, "I don't trust you, but I'm gonna have to work with you," basically. And that was when Irene came from out of Urza, and she basically she threw a little comment at Urza. She was like, "Oh my, what a great thing to say, Urza!" And apparently Urza heard that because she looked at Wendy and she said, "Did you say something?" And Wendy was all like, "No, no, I didn't say nothing." But moving on, there was just some moments where the crew was just goofing off on top of a cloud, talking about how comfy it was, and that they can fall asleep. Nasu got motion sick, and then um, Toka said that they can go to her hometown to gather information about where to go. And it was right at that moment that a giant's hand rose up from the ocean. And everybody was shook at this at first, besides Toka and Ferris. Everyone was shook at this. It was like, why is a big ass hand coming from out of the ocean? Right? And so Ferris was all like, oh, there's no need to worry. These hands don't attack people. And then a mysterious pattern just appeared on the hand and just like me grabbed him, which crushed the cloud and separated them, set them all flying in different directions, right? But before that, when everybody was freaking out about the hand coming from out coming from up out of the ocean, when everybody was freaking out about that, Ferris was all like, "Are there no hands in Earthland?" Which wasn't she in Earthland for like 100 years? It, wouldn't she know there weren't any hands? Or did she just like stay in one location? Because I think it was said she was in Earthland for like a century or a couple of centuries, and I'm pretty sure during that time you would have seen, if you went to a lake or an ocean, you would notice that there were no giant hands shooting up from the water. So I just found that kind of funny. It was like, oh, there's no giant monstrous hands coming up from the ocean. Like, oh no, I'm sorry, I wasn't aware that that was completely normal to you. Uh, so anyway, the crew ended up getting split up due to this giant hand just sending them flying in different directions. So we got Natsu, Gray, and Happy. They were sent to this area where snow. They were in a strange location where snow floated up from the ground and went into like the atmosphere, right? And initially Natsu blamed Gray because he was all like, Gray, why did you make it snow, you jerk? And Gray was all like, I can't make snow fall. That's not my power. And Happy was like, okay, guys, stop arguing. Where are the others? We need to find Lucy and others. And Natsu stated that he couldn't smell anyone, that he couldn't pick up on anyone's scent. And Gray was kind of irritated because they were in an unknown world and they couldn't find nobody. And jumping to Lucy's location, Lucy was by herself, and she was in this strange mountain range forest area, and it's this always happens to poor Lucy. Whenever she ends up by herself, she always ends up getting chased by some sort of psychopathic villain or strange creature. And literally, right as she landed in her unknown location, this strange, very disturbing monster with like 100 eyes and two mouths with razor sharp teeth just started chasing after her and trying to eat her. Which, I'm not gonna lie, if I saw that thing, I would have ran to the hills. I would have ran myself. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to become a breakfast or a dinner out here. It was actually it was comedic, but honestly, saying something like that, I would run like hell too. So, as Lucy was running away, she was screaming for someone to help her, and we see that Taurus, he comes from the celestial spirit world without Lucy utilizing her keys. He enters, you know, Elantir on his own, right? And he cuts the monster in half with his axe and kills it. And the first thing he says was, he looks at Lucy and he sees her in an outfit that Edelist Lucy gave her, and he says, "Hi, Lucy. You look, your body looking quite nice in that outfit." Of course, Taurus can't go a minute without commenting on Lucy's body or her breasts. He just has to make a comment every time he sees her. So he says, "Hi, Lucy. That's a nice outfit you got." So Lucy says, "Taurus, how did you get here? I don't have my keys with me." And when I read it, I was all like, "Why? How would you? Did she leave her keys in Giltina? Because they were transported to Edelist pretty randomly. It's not like they knew that was going to happen. So thinking about it like that, it makes sense. Like why she doesn't have her keys. But when I first read it, I was all like, why don't you have your keys? Did you leave them in Edelist?" But I just now came to the conclusion. I just now remember that she more than likely left them in that inn, in that hotel in Drasil where the rest of the guild mates are. So Lucy says she doesn't have her keys with her. So how did Taurus show up, right? And Taurus says it's more than likely because of Elantir being overabundant, overflowing with magic. And Lucy basically says that Elantir is amazing. And it's at that moment that we cut to Urza, Wendy, and Carla in their location, and we see that they're in some unknown abandoned city. And we see as soon as they get there, or as soon as we see them there, these beings of like these shadowy glass-like beings of magical power show up and instantly start to attack them. And as they're readying for battle, we see this mysterious cat-like woman. She's like a very old. You know how old Japanese characters look? They look, or some of them look like feline. Like that's really the only way I can describe it. This woman looked like real, like feline, and she was called. She's a man of Selene, a moonlight battle guide, or a moonlight beauty guide was her title, and her name was Yoko, right? And she was all like, "Let's see if you are worthy of being Selene Sama's toys." All right, so and that was the end of the chapter, you know. So the crew, or rather, Wendy, Urza, and Carla are going to be getting into some action next chapter. I can't wait to check that out. Ellen's here is looking, like I said in the beginning of the video, it's looking pretty unusual. But I'm really interested in finding out and seeing more of the environment. You know what I'm saying? Because Ellen is looking to be pretty cool. I think it's pretty obvious. Like at the end of the day, or rather, the end of the arc, the crew, the main crew is going to end up becoming real powerful because Atlantis is being built up due to how much magical power it has. So it's obviously that the team is going to get an insane power boost. You know what I'm saying? Can't wait to see how strong everyone gets by the end of this arc. You know what I'm saying? You know? I want to talk about something though. People are saying that like since Irene showed up, that she made an appearance, that they want Irene to take over Selene's body. Like they want her to do like a separation enchant and pull Irene's dragon form from her human body, or do something to where Irene can take over Selene's human form body. And I was all like, that wouldn't make any sense because either way, Irene would still be a dragon, and being a dragon is what caused Irene so much pain and caused her to go insane. So to me, Irene possessing Selene or taking her body, which I don't even know how that would be possible, to be honest, even with a separation enchant, because her human body and dragon body are one. So I don't really understand how that would even work. But if she did do that, that wouldn't make any sense to me. Because Irene wants to be human. She doesn't want to be a dragon. You know, and Selene's a dragon that can just transform into a human. You know what I'm saying? And then Irene still wouldn't know how to turn into a human. Even in her humanoid form, she said she couldn't sleep, she couldn't eat, food had no taste, and that just made her miserable. You know what I'm saying? So Irene taking over Selene's body overall just doesn't make any sense to me. You know what I'm saying? But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This was me talking about chapter 69, and I will see you all in my next video. Y'all let me know what y'all think, specifically about Irene taking over Selene's body. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not a fan of that idea. You know what I'm saying? But peace out, my Wolfpack. You're fast spoken, and I will see y'all in my next video. Peace. Yo, what's good, my Wolfpack? Alpha of the pack right here. And today, in this video, man, I'm going to be doing a review of Fairy Tail Under Your Quest, Chapter 70, Spirior. Alright. So, very beginning of the chapter, we see Urza, Wendy, and Carla throwing hands with these beans, okay? Not really sure what to call them. We see Urza, Wendy, and Carla throwing hands at these beans, right? And none of their attacks are hitting. Urza's throwing swords at them. Wendy's trying to hit them with Sky Dragon roars. They're just overall just throwing hands, but They're disappearing. When they get hit, they reform. Nothing's working, right? And after a while, Irene shows up to Wendy in a thought projection, right? And she tells Wendy to use an conceptual enchants, all right? And we find out that these beings, they're they're from something called I don't still don't really understand it, and I reread the chapter like 3 times. These beings are from something called spiritual arts, right? And they're beings created with some kind of combatant in Elementary, all right? I still don't really understand it, all right? Basically, these beings were created with something called spiritual art, and Wendy, if she enchants her power onto this Spirior that's in this location that was used to create these beings of sorts. If she utilized her enchant magic onto this Spirior that was in this location, right? That was in the environment that they were in, she will be able to combat these magic like beings that they're having a hard time fighting, right? So Urza, so Wendy enchants. She uses a spiritual art enchant on Urza, and this surprises Urza at first. She asks Wendy what she did, and Wendy obviously can't tell Urza that Irene's basically coaching her. That Irene basically took Wendy in as a pupil, so she just tell Urza to focus on the enemies ahead of her and take them out. And so Urza does just that. She goes and she starts cutting up these spirit like beings, right? And let me say, we find out that these spiritual arts of sorts, it's neither magic nor curses. It's just something else entirely, right? Which, like I said, I still don't understand. But nonetheless, Wendy and Urza are able to take down these beings that were giving them trouble. And Urza thanks Wendy, and Wendy was like, "It's all good," even though I had a little bit of help from your mom, even though she didn't say that. But basically, after Irene helped Wendy, she peaced out and said she was going back to sleep. So let me say, with this chapter, I'm definitely seeing that this arc, the Elantir arc, is gonna be a Lucy and Wendy arc, at least for the most part. I believe that this arc will mainly develop Lucy and Wendy. You know, because obviously with with Elantir being so overabundant in magic, it being overflowing, and Irene practically teaching Wendy, and Lucy being able to summon spirits without her keys, I feel like this definitely is going to be more of a development arc for those two. You know what I'm saying? At least in the first half. You know what I'm saying? Because we're only like 2 chapters into Elantir, but I feel like the main focus of this arc will be Wendy and Lucy. You know what I'm saying? So so yeah, there's a Wendy two down. You know, the spiritual beings, and they are confronted by Yoko, who was watching them from a distance, and she mentions how impressive they were. And so she confronts them, and she was like, "Oh, you guys are worthy of being Selene Summer's toys. Now I'm gonna face you myself." And she introduces herself as Yoko the Pandemonium, and she says she's gonna show them the power of a yokai. You know what I'm saying? So then we go to Natsu, Gray and Happy, and they're walking through this snowy landscape environment. It's the same area that they were in last chapter, but the snowstorm has like increased, and instead of the snow falling from the ground, it was like falling from the sky. You know what I'm saying? So they're trapped in like a snowstorm, and they're still trying to find everyone else. And there was a scene where Gray told Nasu to use fire to just melt away all the snow, and I'm like, I'm not sure if the episode was filler or not, but when Natsu, Lucy, and Happy were on Mount Hakabe and they were trying to get that special Hakabe ice for like a client or something, Natsu tried to use his fire magic to stop the snowstorm, and it didn't work, and he ended up setting Happy on fire. I don't know if that was filler or not, but I'm like, if it didn't work then, on Mount Hakabe, even though Gray wasn't with them, I'm thinking to myself, if it didn't work then, I'm pretty sure he can't stop a full-on snowstorm in an unknown world. You know what I'm saying? So, as um, as they're making their way through the snowstorm, they're encountered by another moonlit beauty god, and they were all like, "Oh, who are you?" And she was all like, "Oh, I'm Hakane. Um, I'm a member of the Moonlit Beauty Gods. All of the Moonlit Beauty Gods are women." And she talks about how strong Natsu and Gray looks, and she was all like, "Oh, seeing such strong men makes me want to kill them." So it's like, oh god, we got a man hater over here. We got a man hater over here. The Moonlit Beauty Gods are men haters. So, oh god, it just made me laugh. So apparently, nah, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that. Never mind. But apparently the Moonlit Beauty Gods don't like men for some reason, or they got a grudge against men. I'm thinking we're gonna dive more into them. We have to. There's no way they're just gonna be some one off. There's no way we're gonna just fight them once and then they're just gonna disappear. We're definitely gonna dive more into them. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Basically, that encounter was just setting up a fight between Natsu Gray and Hakune, and let's be real here. We got a pretty established ice mage and a powerful fire mage. Obviously Hakuno is gonna give them a challenge because she's gonna give them a challenge because she has to, but realistically, legitimately, Natsu and Gray can stomp her out. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, We're gonna see her give them a bit of a struggle. You know what I'm saying? Especially since she's a man of Selene. So after that, we then go back to Lucy, who's walking through her area, that mountain village forest area with tourists. And there's a moment where they're still trying to find the others, and Lucy's all like, I don't know where the others are. I don't know where the others are. I don't know where to go. There was this moment where Taurus just stops what he's doing, and he tells Lucy to just take off her clothes. She's like, Lucy, quick, take off your clothes. And she's all like, why? Why would I take off my clothes? And he's all like, oh, it's because I sensed someone coming over here. So, so because you sense someone coming, you take off your clothes. Okay, what y'all gonna do? Just like, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. But we see the person who Taurus was talking about, and it's another one of Selene's minions. It's another one of the Moonlit Beauty Gods, and this minion is a hawking figure. She's like 8 feet tall. This 8 foot tall buff woman. She says her name is Mimi, and she's one of the Moonlit Beauty Gods, right? And there's a moment where, as she introduces herself, she stops. She looks at Lucy. She sees Lucy in that revealing outfit that Lucy gave her, and she's staring at Lucy's breast. And there's a moment where she blushes and she says, "Oh my God, that's too sexy. Your clothes are too sexy." And Taurus is all like, "I know. I thought the same thing." And we got Lucy over here just looking like, man, what the hell? Lucy's all like, I'm not into cows or women, so chill out. And That's basically what the chapter ends. You know what I'm saying? So, this chapter was just building up more fights. We got Urza, Wendy, and Carla about to take on Yoko. You know, and then we got Natsu and Gray about to take on Hakune, and then Lucy maybe it's gonna fight Mimi. Maybe Mimi might have other ideas. I don't know, but yeah, man. Not much went down in this chapter. It was mainly a Wendy chapter, a Wendy and Irene chapter. Irene teaching Wendy conceptual enchantment, spiritual arts that I still don't fully understand. But it was a decent chapter. You know what I'm saying? Looking forward to chapter 71. But y'all let me know how y'all feel about this chapter, man. It wasn't much. It was all right. You know what I'm saying? We're slowly easing into elementary. We're slowly building it up, but it was all right. I'm ready for more. I want more action, less talking. Okay. One of the main reasons why I like fairy tales is because of the fights. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was all right. It was an okay chapter. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all in my next one. Peace. This has been a two-part, chapter 69 and 70. You know what I'm saying? Hope y'all enjoyed it. Peace.